The Fed is set up to be independent and from the federal government, or quasi-independent. But are we in a situation now, particularly with this rising debt, that the Fed and the federal government are kind of in it together on fiscal and monetary policy? And is the monetary policy facilitating an unsustainable fiscal policy?
In today's world, that's one of the debates going on. Is there fiscal dominance over the Federal Reserve's policy? In other words, is the debt so large and so important going forward that the Fed has to accommodate it by buying government debt and keeping interest rates low? And I think it's a huge issue. I mean, the Federal Reserve was set up to be independent, to keep the government from issuing too much debt and allowing it to say, no, we're not going to buy your debt. We're not going to print the money to buy your debt any longer. And that puts a discipline on the government. We used to have a gold standard. We don't have that anymore. All you have now is this Federal Open Market Committee who has to act independently as if they were the gold standard. And when they fail to do that, then we invite future inflation. And that's the drama, if you will, going on, I think, inside the Federal Open Market Committee today, as it deals with monetary policy, its relationship to the federal government and the issue of debt, and the issue of debt for the payment of interest on that debt to avoid increasing taxes or reducing spending. Because the only other way you can deal with this is to reduce spending or increase taxes or some combination of the two. And the Federal Reserve, if it says no to the printing of money, means interest rates rise and puts more pressure on that Congress to reduce spending or increase taxes. So it has a big role to play. And if it is not independent, it will cave and print money, and we will eventually reignite inflation in this country. Just so you know, in the 80s, in the 70s, we did something similar to this. We had inflation, we had asset inflation, and we got to where we had 14% inflation, price inflation in the United States. And Paul Volcker came in and said, we're not doing this anymore. And we had this huge adjustment. Very painful, necessary, but very painful. Well, if we don't take care of this now, it will get only larger and become more painful later on. And that's the drama that we have to face, we, the American people, the Congress, and the FOMC.